us, which is twins, right?
Yes.
So tell me the story a little bit about how this developed. Obviously, you grew up together, so that's part of it. But how does this artistic relationship work? Like, what is that?
I like to believe that it's something, in a way, kind of magical.
Okay.
Because we were supposed to be only one person.
Ah.
You know, and yes, we have this. We come from this. I don't know how to say it in English. Univitelinos, which means that actually there were only one sperm and one egg.
Ah, so it was a surprise.
And we split.
Ah,
yes, that was good. Otherwise, it would have been tragic to stay together forever. You know, but yeah,
that would have also been artistically very interesting. I'm sure.
Yeah, but physically, not so much. Problematic. Let's name that,
to say the least.
So yeah, I mean, we were supposed to be one person, and I think since a couple of years now, we have decided to sign the work as one individual.
Ah, okay. And so in terms of like the production of these pieces, how do you manage the voices? Like whose voice dominates, or like who comes forward and who doesn't, or do you have like an agreement where you decide how that works?
I think it's we come together with the same vision and the idea, and the actual work of the pieces is pretty much even. We work together, not at the same moment. There are times that we work the pieces for hands. It's a bit messy, you can imagine, but we work...
Stay out of my lane.
the idea and the concept, it comes from the two minds.
Okay, great. And what is the, like there's this very specific aesthetic to your work. What are the influences of that aesthetic? Like where does that come from? I mean, clearly there's like a very strong Mexican influence, but like who are your influences? How does that come together for you?
I would like to believe that our main influence is life itself.
Okay.
It comes from the idea of the forces of nature, from the body, the experience of being alive. That's the main influence. In regard to style and education, we come from school, university,
right.
The history of art. It's always there, and we also want to look at the process of the ancient cultures, which they experiment with pigments, with drawing, with lines, because oil, for example, that we also paint oil and we love the texture, but it comes from Europe.
Right.
So we also want to see other art.
Right.
And go to, when you see it in the museum, the pyramids, Egypt pyramids, Mexican works and art, it comes from another place.
Right.
And we also like that, and maybe that's why it comes from as Mexican inspiration. We are doing lots of experimentation.
Like a sabor, you know, like the flavor of it is definitely, like to me, it's extremely has that Mexican flavor to it.
I think I also would like to mention that as an inspiration, it's freedom, everything in all their forms. As well, especially, I think the naked body speaks very loudly to us. And the skin, the flesh, I think that's something that comes to a very important place in our pictures, in our art.
And the freedom to use materials as well,
right.
To combine them, to see the work and the media, the mixed media, as a way to be able to express yourself as well, and to have freedom. That's why you also see like lots of mixing, drawing oil with watercolor on paper, on canvas, textile. So the freedom comes in all those forms.
And the sense of experimentation in them. One of the things I enjoy is not only like this sort of, there's this complete and wholeness to the work, but there's this element of what's left, like that isn't finished. It's
that's very important for us. This that you can see, and you can, as a body, you have to let the work breathe. Sometimes we like to leave some pieces of the paper or the canvas without any untouched. You have to let them breathe, and to have this mix and this antagonist maybe way to show a very thin layer of watercolor among and against this thick layer and spot of oil.
Right.
And how those two communicate. And how you can create also a conversation within the materials. I mean, we love to see the materials.
Speaking, I think it's important to let the materials speak sometimes. They have things to say.
Right.
Oil has things to say. In his highest form for us, the oil is the impasto. I think that part of the oil is what speaks loudly in our work. And then the pencil drawing also to be visible. I mean, we like the pieces to have that expression of material.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can't like maybe like in video or in Instagram or something, those flatten things. Like it's very hard to get the sense of those elements within them, but you can't escape them when you're in the room with it. Like the impasto of the red paint as blood, juxtaposed against like the sort of watercolor transparency of the body,
or the nothing on the white,
Right.
I think that's also important. Many people think, as you says, like, what am I watching? It's like, why is not finished? Because we are so used to see paintings that has the whole
landscapes and
fully covered of painting,
Right.
and this is other way to approach things. We love these pieces that, let's say, the pyramids of the Aztecas, that currently you don't see the color anymore. Once they were painted with pigments, very, very bright. And they were painted with pigments made of flowers, of fruits. And that something we think it's very beautiful and very artistic.
Yeah, and I mean, that element of the history comes through within the materials and the way that you present it. But you're also working with themes from Mexico's history. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Actually, I think more than the traditional themes, I mean, of course, I think as humans, you definitely are landing on some concepts where you are born. I mean, we do definitely have a context as humans, as
Right.
individuals. I think we were born here in Mexico, we are Mexicans, and those themes definitely are in our work. But I would like to believe they are more like we are revisiting them as what it means to make fiction out of them as we are, these individuals that are not particularly into the traditional way of thinking, let's say. I mean, we are identities, not binaries,
Right.
not binaries identities. So what it means to become, I call myself the queen of Tenochtitlan.
Okay.
Which means, I mean, that never happened. It was a position only for men. It didn't exist. What will happen to be that queen, that fiction, to resignify, that's a word, is it?
Well, claim ownership,
to claim ownership on those fictions, on those legends that we as Mexicans all are part of. So we definitely think about that, and yes, they are an important part of our work. Especially in these that we're showing, we have some pieces specific that are called portraits in Tenochtitlan and self-portrait in Mexico City.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's very powerful. I'm curious about the ideal of gender and how that is expressed through the artwork, but also the performative aspects of you as artists as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot. It makes sense also because most of the basis of our work, of our recent work, it starts as an exploration of self-portraits, and so you can see self-portraits and portraits. And for us, seeing a face, it is like seeing a landscape. You can see a history. You can see lines of other people. You can see, for us, for example, when we paint a self-portrait, we love to see, we want to see that people surrounded by symbolism. That's why we also love to use animals. And these animals, the symbols that ancient civilizations have created, and how you associate an animal with a force, with a nature force.
A feeling as well.
A feeling.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it helps.
The animals are, they're quite clearly there.
They're clearly there, and they are to support a message, to support a concept. For us, life is greatest inspiration, and every day you have to, in order to. Good to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, I was exploring about the idea of that in order to keep alive, you have to kill, you have to devour animals, you have to devour other beings. And it's the same with other themes that we like to explore, such as love. In a sense, for us, you devour another person, you devour ideas. So that's very important to us in terms of the concept and materials, animals, the flesh.
So
this
can you explain, like, give me, like, for instance, this particular piece here?
Yeah.
Talk about the ideal of
This piece is called Self-Portrait in Tenochtitlan. And it's, as Hugo says, begin as a portrait of myself as Tenochtitlan's queen, which I'm having this symbolism of two gods, Aztec gods, yes, which is Huitzilopochtli, which is the god of sun. In there you can see that through the Quetzal. And then is the opposite, the god of death and the underworld, which is Tezcatlipoca, which is usually represented by a snake and a jaguar, as creature of nights. So I'm doing this idea of I am a queen surrounded by gods.
Okay.
And then in top of that is this idea
and
of...
thank you, by the way, we consider ourselves
Absolutely,
gods as well.
absolutely. You know? But that comes the best part. Up there, it's like the idea on desire. What is this queen desiring in that moment? How is she connecting with the world? And it's through these naked male figures, naked and very much speaking to the lust of myself. And that idea is the basic part. Of course, it has many layers, as not only on the painting, as the watercolor, but also conceptually.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's the amount of energy that is projected from the paintings is really interesting to me. Like it feels like you're capturing a celebration in a moment. Are you working with live models or photography to reference, or is it coming directly out of your mind?
No, actually, I think all
It's a mix of all of that.
It's a mix of all of that, but I would like to point that all of the people that are portrayed in our paintings are our friends, or at least people we know. We control the process, either can be by live drawing, that we can make for construction the piece, building the piece, or in some cases we also take photographs. It's impossible to keep someone posing for so many hours, you know?
Right.
So we do both, and yeah.
Awesome. And how did the pandemic affect your process, and how did you get through that?
In terms of working, we work a lot. I mean, we do take seriously the pandemic the first months, even right now. We are still taking it seriously, of course.
The lockdown and staying at home.
But we had pictures and we had ideas and we had time. And we have the privilege of staying home, you know,
right?
As
which
well.
Is a privilege.
Which is a privilege because many people couldn't do that, but we could. And so we said, like, let's paint something. We have the paper, we have the materials, and we continue working.
And it became like a very intense dialogue, because in that time we said, let's do that thing we was waiting for. Now we have this time, we can talk about it, we are together, so instead of watching another Netflix show, let's paint. We have these materials, we have things, let's do it. And many of these paintings came from that time, actually.
Very interesting. I'm just thinking about the idea that, like, I'm a twin, identical twin.
The good
and
one, the bad one.
I could only imagine, like, the energetic dynamics of that and how that plays out, especially working in smaller space and like the pandemic requiring you to stay together all the time and everything too. Are there any pieces in the show that were produced during the pandemic, or?
This one was finished during the pandemic.
Okay.
And also the portrait it's hanging there has a very good story, interesting story.
Okay.
I'm a professor and art professor.
Okay.
So that painting was made in an online workshop during the pandemic.
Ah, good.
Yeah, we were exploring this idea of with teenagers about how to make, how to talk about gender in a way that can become a self-portrait. So during the sessions, I did that piece.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about gender and gender expression and the freedom of having the ability to express that and how that plays out in your work.
Well, actually, art gives you this amazing platform to express
whatever
some things. Yeah, you can fly in art.
Yeah.
You can fly. You can
Superpowers.
Yeah,
superpowers.
yeah.
You can have as many goals as you want. So it's relief to be able to paint that, to explore those ideas without physical limits. The gravity or things like that. I mean, all of those things are there. But also gender for us, it comes from.
I think you mentioned something very interesting when you said that our paintings for you gives you an idea of glory or joy or something that you mentioned that, and I think it's true. We like to paint and to present these bodies, these ideas in their highest. I mean, usually, traditionally, sadly, of course, our bodies has been depicted as sad lives, as dramatic, very tragical stories surrounding us. And I think that narrative should change.
Yes.
Because are not very healthy to build dynamics in our daily lives. It gives an idea probably from the past, and especially that comes from foreign eyes.
Right.
When we as diversity members present ourselves in art, I think should be there's a space for everything, of course.
Right.
But I think the lighter it can be, the stories, the paintings, the work, the better.
Well, and in mainstream, like the representation is always, about like murder and death and love
drugs
within LGBTQIA.
Yeah.
Like it all ends in tragedy.
Absolutely.
And the reality of it is that our lives are not tragic.
We're full of joy, and we give lots of joy.
strength.
Absolutely. A lot of resistance. Our fights are usually joined by lots of love and laughter and hugs. There's lots of that as well. So yes, I mean, regarding gender, we believe in the no boundaries expression of our beings.
Right. The fluidity of that. I mean, I think that reads very well within the artwork and the performative aspects of the personality that you put forward in the work, which I think is extremely important because it allows other people to see the diversity within the community, and the ability gives people a comfort level of finding their own expressions as well. You grew up in Guadalajara, right?
We are from Guadalajara. We grew up there. Yes.
So I mean there's like a more machismo culture in northern Mexico.
I think the whole world has been always difficult and still is for many bodies. Guadalajara is not the exception, but yes, I think we are living now in Mexico City, and that is a good decision.
That's a freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. But my family still live there, and I think Guadalajara is part of the society we live in as worldwide. So I think it's important that all the battles that are won for rights are all over the world. Otherwise, it's not. I mean, you cannot live in a bubble.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and this ideal that we can celebrate Pride and not acknowledge that the same celebration
Wouldn't be possible.
is not possible in 2/3 of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we are privileged.
What is that?
Right.
What is that?
What is that? Like
What
how
is
do we change that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the power of the artwork. I think that's why people respond to your artwork is there's these messages of inclusion and freedom within it, unapologetic.
And that's very important. Unapologetic and ostentatious and show. Yeah.
Full of skin, full of glamour.
Yes. What do you like? What's the future for Las Gemelxs? Like, what do you
honey,
imagine?
I'm not a magician to know that. I know it's a very bright future. Yeah, I hope the future to be a quiet place where we can still thinking and creating and getting close to the people we love and connecting to a broader community.
And tell me what community means to you. Like, how does that support your process, and like, what is your community like?
Yeah, I mean, community, I think it's very important, and it's a concept that probably in these years we have been talking a lot about that as society, and that's very good. But I think we need to keep doing more about to talk more about community. I think for me, community is to be able to share my life with my friends. But no, what is community for me? What do you think about that?
For me, it also means to be in a place that you can connect.
Right.
Yeah, I think
That you can connect.
Safety.
Safety is community, as well as not thinking the same, because that would be boring and impossible. But to have a healthy dialogue with someone else,
Right.
Whomever that is. And also, community means helping each other.
Right.
Yeah, and that's very important. You cannot live alone. I mean, community also means.
I think for communities to realize that we cannot be alone, that we cannot build anything, think anything by ourselves.
Right.
Especially because queer people comes a lot from rejection. So when you have to be able to forget about that and build and try to bring people together. And we want to do that, especially because what we paint is people. We are very interested in portraying people.
And the relationships.
And relationships.
Right.
And there is this level of intimacy within the figures that you're presenting that shows those relationships, the importance of that. So it's not surprising to me that your subject matter are people that you already know, because the level of intimacy required to gain access to the emotions is there.
Yeah.
So that's what removes you from, for me, in my opinion, removes it from academic figurative work to elevating it to this experience and a story that needs to be told and heard and experienced. So I'm honored by the trust that you give to this project to share your stories, and you consistently show up, and you're always fabulous.
Oh my God.
Like that just
This is
makes me.
what are you talking about? This is how I wake up.
Right, I know, right? Yeah, yeah,
Barely make
absolutely.
any effort.
Right.
Barely did anything to myself.
You just like pop up and go.
Interview time. Let's go.
Let's go. And we can see the live broadcast of their home and studio for $19.95 a month.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come here and share more of your work with us and your processes and things, but also just like the energy of the work and the way that you so freely bring other people into it. So I think that's I've seen, like I watch you in crowds of people, and you the literal like sort of walk the talk, you know, what you say you do, which I think is extremely important, because a lot of people say things and then do the opposite.
Yeah,
So-
we don't like to play those games, you know.
No.
It's 2021, so honey, let's go forward. There's
Right.
lots of things to do.
Hey, we got 20 years left on this earth before it
Yeah, life
devours
is like
us all.
that. Life is like that.
So let's party.
Let's
Let's
yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Let's remember that diversity is extremely important to the survival of the species. You know,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
if we're all the same, we might as well, you know, live in, I don't know.
Yeah, we are an ecosystem.
Right? Yes. Absolutely. You are our own ecosystem.
We're all an ecosystem.
One world.
We're an entire world. I thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you,
this with
Michael,
us.
for the invitation.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
I'm excited by the longevity of the relationship and hoping for future collaborations too.
And all the pieces are for sale, so
All of them.
all of them are for sale.
You.
take some home. They will
Come
make you
on.
very happy.
A live artist.
Right.
That's
Oh
so
my
important.
gosh. Please support
Yes.
live artists. Like we're out
Yeah,
here
it's
like
important.
struggling.
That is important.
Before, God knows who will make us, who will be rich for a work they didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no soul.
we have to bear it.
Yeah, you want soul in your house? This is bringing soul to your life. So thank you very much.
Thank you.